how many times do we have to talk about? Probably a lot, but how many more times do we have to talk about having a morning routine? Your morning routine is crucial to your success. Your morning routine is crucial to you being able to go after the life that you want. If you can control your mornings, you have a better shot at controlling the rest of your day. If you choose to not control your mornings, not be intentional about that first 30 minutes, not be intentional about that first 20 minutes, that first 45 minutes, if you choose, you're missing out on a big part, a big secret to how you go off and design your ideal life. Remember, success leaves clues. There's almost every successful person that I've ever listened to, I know they have a morning routine. Their morning routine can be that of being up early and getting things done. There's some people that have a morning routine of they are choosing not to get things done that early. They're choosing not to get things done right until 9:30 a.m., 10 a.m. But regardless, they're intentional about their morning. If you want to go off and take your life to the next level, you want to create that ideal life for yourself, you want to go off and build the life you don't need a break from, I promise you, if you start paying attention to your morning and you're more intentional about it, you can get there a lot faster. But it's when we don't. It's when we don't pay attention to the morning. When we wake up and it's the alarm clock and it's go and it's we're allowing in all of the external things, that's when our life becomes chaotic. That's when we feel like we can't really get things on the ball. So Jay Shetty gave you a couple things you've heard me say, but let's break some of those things down. The four ends of distraction, first and foremost, those things that distract us. What did he say? He said it's the news, negativity, notifications, and noise. Think about how much of that you allow into your life. How much news are you allowing into your life? From social media news, from the actual, ABC, NBC news to CNN to whatever you read in the paper to whatever your family or your friend is telling you about, whatever your coworker is telling you about has happened on the news, what's happening in our country, all the stuff. How much of that are you consuming? Because it's a distraction. As much as you think you want to be up on like the stuff that's happening, that's a distraction. Why? Also, because most news is negative. It's very rare that in the 30-minute news span or the hour-long news span that the majority of it is positive, uplifting things that are allowing you to get to your ideal life. That's not the way the media works. So most of that stuff is negative. So if we're consuming negativity in news, that becomes a distraction for us getting out of our own mind, getting in, right, being able to go off and design our ideal life. So how much news are you taking in? How much negativity are you taking in? What about your notifications on your phone? How often is your phone pinging you? How often do you see that you have a notification on Facebook or a notification on Instagram? How much are you looking at your text messages? How much is your email popping up? How much is that Apple News notification popping up or your banking information popping up? All these things that start playing and ringing in our mind that are distraction to us getting to the life that we want, right? When we talk about getting clear and eliminating some of these things, you start to realize what's really important. That fourth one he talked about was the noise, right? The noise, all the stuff that you hear from people, from, again, social media, from just around in society. These are the things that distract us, that take us away from the life that we're trying to live. So eliminate some of those things out of your life, ladies and gentlemen. Eliminate. I personally practice this habit. I don't touch my phone until 9 a.m. Like I don't even like my phone does not, again, personal preferences, like my phone's not in the bedroom. Like I have an office, I plug in my phone the night before and I go into a completely different room to go to sleep. I don't have notifications popping up. I don't hear my phone. My phone doesn't have a ringer. I keep my phone on vibrate all day long. It doesn't notify me because I know what is a distraction in my life and I know what I need to do to go off and design this life that I don't need a break from, that this ideal life. The phone sometimes becomes that distraction. So I've set boundaries for myself. I don't touch the phone. You could text me in the middle of the night, all through the morning. I ain't gonna touch the phone till 9 a.m. You're not gonna get a text from me. Maybe 8:55 because I happen to be through my routine. But like you're not gonna get a early call from me. That's personal preference because I know what I need to do to protect myself in the morning. Because as I used to look at my phone first thing in the morning with 17 notifications and 3 emails and 8 text messages and all these things, my brain starts working right away. And that's not what I needed. I needed to be in my own space in order to be able to handle what's up ahead. So eliminate those distractions. Then he gave you 4 things. It spelled out the acronym TIME, but number one, thankfulness. What we call it gratitude. Again, how many times do we say you got to flood your mind with gratitude? You got to wake up being thankful. He gave you some specific examples of, man, what if you did touch your phone and you sent a text message to 5 people that you're grateful for, and you tell them with specificity, right, with clarity, exactly what you are thankful about for them or grateful for them, right, towards them for. If you're clear about it, if you express it, it makes not only you feel good, it makes them feel good. What if you started your day that way? What if that was something that you started your day with all the time, just being grateful, being thankful, telling people how grateful and thankful you are, not bringing in the baggage from yesterday's people woes, right? Like when we got to deal with all these people in the world, and then you bring that into the next day. What if we started every day fresh? Thankfulness, gratitude, important. The I for inspiration, something that inspires you. I hope these morning mindset calls do it. But again, this is just 30 minutes, 3 different times a week. What about the rest of your week? What about your other times? Do you have something that inspires you? Remember the saying, y'all, weird rich, normal poor, right? When you hear people do really weird things, it's probably going to make you rich. It's probably going to be something that's going to enhance your life more so than what the average person gets. Normalcy, things that normal people do or things that seem normal to people typically keep you poor, keep you average. Can you imagine listening to one record, one commencement speech for 9 months? Jay Shetty said he listened to Steve Jobs' commencement speech every day for 9 months. Right? Sounds a little weird, but he knew this was inspiring him. He knew this was getting him going. He knew this was filling him up. I gave y'all an example of what I told my mom a couple times ago, a couple like weeks ago, where I was like, hey, if you get really excited by, being in prayer time and being with like, why don't you do that all day? Why don't you keep inspiring yourself for the rest of the day? You know how we get hooked on songs? You know why you know a song? It's because you heard it every day, multiple times in the day, and those words just repeated in your head over and over again. You thought the beat was catchy. You thought the hook was nice, but like really it was just the repetition that you just heard the thing over and over and over again for months, and now this becomes your favorite song, right? You played it back to back to back. You heard it one time and you played it another 3 times just so you could hear it again. Well, why aren't we doing that with inspiration? Why aren't we doing that with your favorite podcast, your favorite speech? You don't need new stuff. You need things that constantly fill you. You need to know what fills you and makes you inspired, what inspires you. So, are you focused on that in the morning? Jay Shetty says you should be. Third thing he put was meditation. I love how he put it. Meditation is just you checking in with you. It's just you setting a date with yourself. If we get rid of those distractions, the noise, the negativity, the news, the notifications, if we just get that stuff out of our way, what if we took 5 minutes to be with ourselves? What if we took 10 minutes to be with ourselves, to slow our thinking, to connect with our breathing, to just tap in with us, to check in with our emotions? You want to get emotionally intelligent? Well, you need to tap into your emotions. You need to know what you're feeling and why you're feeling that. You need to get that warning sign like, ooh, feeling a little anxious. Where's that coming from? Ooh, feeling a little angry. Where's that coming from? Oh, feeling a little down. Where's that coming from? Right? Your feelings are just, they're warning signs, but you have to be emotionally intelligent enough to be able to recognize where it's coming from. You know where you learn that type of stuff? When you meditate, when you learn how to sit down and not touch something and not touch your phone and not have external distractions and just take 5 minutes with yourself just to see where you are. That's how you build emotional intelligence, because now you're self-aware to understand what you're operating in throughout the day versus just being on the go and taking care of this and doing this. And we never stop and tap in with ourselves. Taking that 5 minutes in the morning for meeting with yourself is going to be crucial. And the last thing he put was exercise. Exercise, whether it's, he said, add competitive and collaborative efforts in there, do it with people. You got to be in community, right? It's important. That exercise part of things is important. That's where I chose to land in our Tech 177 mental toughness secrets. I could have chosen any of these, right? There's chapters on all of these. There's chapters on gratitude. There's chapters on being motivated and inspired. There's chapters on, right, connecting to a higher source, to meditation, to prioritizing those things. There's also a chapter on making exercise a priority. Remember, this book is Secrets of the World Class. When you hear people that are successful doing things and giving you that the insight, if you just copy what they're doing, you'll get similar results. But sometimes it's a belief thing. Maybe we don't believe that that's the case. Maybe we don't think that's going to work for us. Maybe we're under a belief system, a thought process that we don't need that, or that's their life, or whatever the case is. I've made it a principle to say, hey, success leaves clues. If that's something that works for a lot of people, if I adapt the same thoughts, I'll probably get similar results. Well, here's what it says in the text. It says the world class makes exercise a priority, just like Jay Shetty just told you to do. It said amateurs tend to believe, this is what it says in the book. It says amateurs tend to believe exercise is only for the young, and that has little to do with success in the business world. Studies show this to be false. In the last 10 years, many companies have started corporate exercise programs and constructed workout facilities on company premises. They know regular exercise is the single most significant aspect of good health, and good employee health goes right to the bottom line. Champions have known this for years. They tend to invest at least an hour per day, every day, in some form of physical activity. They usually select an activity they really enjoy to ensure that it becomes a habit. Amateurs spend more time watching their favorite sports heroes exercise than they do exercising themselves. The cost of this inactive lifestyle is substantial, both physically and mentally. Professional performers know a sound mind and a sound body are one and the same, and they treat their physical activity with the same intensity and priority as they do their work. They schedule daily exercise and approach it with the same vigor as meeting with a key customer. The biggest distinction between amateurs and pros in this area is the importance they place on adhering to this exercise routine. Amateurs see exercise as a chore, pros see it as a necessity for world-class performance. Last sentence in there says the biggest distinction between amateurs and pros in this area is the importance they place on adhering to an exercise routine, aka their belief behind how important it is to actually exercise. If your belief is that that's not as important for me as it is to go make money, as it is to go take care of my family, as it is to go, that's a belief system that you might want to think about adjusting. Jay Shetty just talked to you about these are 4 things you can do to reclaim your mornings, to reclaim the time that you have in the morning. If you are focused on your gratitude, if you're focused on your inspiration, if you're focused on meditation, and you're focused on exercise, you're focused on moving your body in the right way, you will start your days off better. If you did this 7 days a week, this is not a 5 on, 2 off. This is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle to say every morning I wake up, I will practice gratitude. Every morning I wake up, I will get inspired. Every morning I wake up, I will meditate and connect with myself. Every morning I will move my body in some way. Like that becomes a habit. That becomes what you prioritize because you know that those things that you practice in the morning will set your day up for success. And the more that we can set our days up for success, the more likely we are to get to that life we don't need a break from. That's how it works. It's momentum. It doesn't change overnight. It's how often do you practice these things? How often are you making this a habit in your life? And as you do that, you are slowly pushing that boulder up the hill. You're pushing it up to get to the next level in life. But you got to be intentional about this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be intentional about these things. You got to be intentional about gratitude. You got to be intentional about inspiring yourself and not allowing yourself to be completely knocked out and right out of energy and out of, social gas, so to speak. You can't allow yourself to not check in with you. You get 24 hours a day. You don't give yourself 5 minutes to check in with you. You don't give yourself 10 minutes to check in and be like, where am I at? Let me put the phone down. Let me get away from the kids. Let me get into a quiet place. Let me get away from my coworkers. Let me get away from the distractions, the noise, the notifications, the negativity, the news. Let me get away from all of it and let me sit down with myself for 5 minutes. Let me just sit down with myself for 10 minutes. in silence, in quiet, and just check in with myself. If we're not doing that, we got to put that in practice. And then lastly, we got to make exercise a priority. I heard this from I was watching a TikTok, and this lady was very she was advocating to people very strongly that this is the year you focus on your health, your wealth, and your relationships, in that order: your health, your wealth, and your relationships. She kept saying it over and over again. She was like, I'm imploring all of you. The distractions are killing you. Your entertainment is killing you. Your escapism is killing you. Like, these are the things that are taking you away from your destiny, from the man or woman God called you to be. This is the year to pay attention to your health, your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. Like, that's top priority. And then your wealth, your financial life, the things that we do, the things that I talk about: getting your foundations in order, making sure you understand your cash flow and getting out of debt, and making sure you have savings, and making sure your income's protected and you can pass things down. Like, get your finances in order this year, and get your relationships in order, get your community in order. The last things that Jay Shetty said was 3 C's, right? You got to have some coaching, you got to have some commitment, and you got to have some community. Coaching you need, mentorship you need, this you need someone pushing you, guiding you, showing you your blind spots, challenging you, not allowing you to settle for the status quo. You need someone like that in your corner. You need people like that. You need coaching. You need to make a commitment that your health, your finances, and your relationships are a priority. You need to make a commitment, which is just a decision to say, this is important to me. These other things may not be. This year, this is important. And then you need community. You need people like us that are like minded, that are headed in the same direction, that can remind you where you're headed, that can remind you the path you're on, that can encourage you down the path when you get a little weary, when you need to take a water break, when you need to rest. You need people running with you. You need community. That's what we need. And if you can control some of these things in the morning, ladies and gentlemen, it sets you on a trajectory to change your life. The action step for today says make a commitment to exercise at least 1 hour per day, every day. The excuse you don't have time is a delusion. Exercise is necessary for a long, healthy life. Get your calendar out, move things around, and make room for exercise no matter what it takes. Your life literally depends on it. Even if that means you're just walking, even if that means you're just getting in your steps. Looks like Ron's riding his bike. Let's go. Talk about exercise, right? Whatever you got to do to move your body, it's incredibly important to make sure that you can build and get to this life that you don't need a break from. What's it like to build to this life and you can't even enjoy it? You're on your sick bed, your legs don't work, your arms don't work, you're unhealthy. What are we building towards if we're not focused on our health? Your health, your wealth, your relationships this year. Let's lock in, let's pay attention to them, and then let's take our lives to the next level. I love you guys. Go out and do something that scares you this weekend. Do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. We're here to grow with you, to learn with you. At the end of the day, we got a lot of work to do in order to get to that ideal life, but we can all make it happen. We're here on the journey. Love you guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you again on Monday. Take care.